Welcome to Journey to Joy Live, a podcast to promote wellness, resilience, and inspire joy. Be empowered to balance your mental, physical, financial, aspirational, and social health while providing mental health awareness and breaking down the stigma of mental illness in the Black community. I'm your host, Dr. If Joy, and I'm here to help you transform life's challenges into opportunities for joy. Let's begin the journey together. Episode 140, emotional flooding, why you feel everything at once and how to regulate your mood. If you know and watched last week's episode 139, I was talking all about self-love and basically the biochemistry of self-love. And believe it or not, when you love yourself, it changes the chemistry of your brain. It regulates certain hormones and neurotransmitters are released and things like that. So if you think about it, if you have the opposite of self-love, you're obviously having things happening in your brain that is making you get to the point where you experience emotional flooding. That is in one scenario of a lack of self-love, but then there's other scenarios where maybe it's not a lack of self-love, but maybe it's a stressor that's happening, a trauma that keeps replaying in your mind. It's just something happening. I mean, have you ever gone from calm to just overwhelm in seconds? 0 to 100, calm to anger. You're fine until one small thing pushes you over the edge. Suddenly you're crying, snapping, shutting down, spiraling. Or you notice that in a family member. I have patients many, many times, or actually parents of patients who say, well, I just think they have bipolar because they're fine 1 second, then they snap the other second. They're angry all of a sudden. They're 0 to 1,000. Mood swings and meltdowns. They have bipolar. No, emotional flooding does not mean bipolar. Mood swings or snapping 1 second because you were triggered does not make you bipolar. Actual bipolar is a full-on manic episode where for a whole week's time, a few days at a time if it's hypomania, but full-blown mania is a whole week's time where you are not yourself. You are different. You are all of a sudden irritable for the whole week. You are on edge. You are extremely high and feeling driven by a motor, so much energy you don't need, sleep, risk-taking behaviors, hypersexuality, using drugs all of a sudden, things that are out of the norm for you. That is bipolar, and it's episodic. You have episodes of it, then you're not that way. For people who are consistently irritable or consistently experiencing emotional flooding or within chronic stress, and they're just kind of like snappy because they're anxious or snappy because they're depressed or snappy because they are in a midst of chronic stress, then that, my friend, is emotional flooding or just feeling overwhelmed. That is not bipolar. So why? It's not you being dramatic. It's emotional flooding. It's all the chemicals happening at once. So let's talk about what this emotional flooding actually is and what's happening in your brain, because it's good to know what is actually happening, because it's not like just some invisible thing that's happening to you. There's stuff going down in our brain. And how can you regulate it in real time? Because yes, you can regulate it. You can gain control and be empowered over your emotions, believe it or not. And that's what all emotional intelligence is about. Emotional intelligence is 4 things. It is being able to feel empathy, being able to have self-awareness, having social skills, and being able to regulate your emotions. That's what it's all about. So emotional intelligence isn't just like, oh, I need to be this way and having a high emotional IQ when I'm at work or in my leadership position. You got to be doing that at home as a parent too, mom and dad. Yeah, if you can hold it together at work, trust me, you can hold it together at home too, so you can maintain those healthy relationships. So when you think about your nervous system becoming overwhelmed and your brain just seems to shift into this survival mode of trying to put out fires, that's emotional flooding. When you have this intense overwhelm, sudden tears and anger, shutting down all of a sudden, racing thoughts, physical tension, just feeling this out of control feeling, that's this emotional flooding, just all emotions all at once. So flooding is your nervous system just caving in on you. It's a nervous system event, not a personality flaw. And for the most part, not bipolar. Of course, people with bipolar may have issues with being able to regulate their emotions. Sure. People with borderline personality disorder having issues regulating their emotions, or people with disruptive mood dysregulation disorder have issues regulating their emotions. But it doesn't mean that because you experience this emotional flooding that you have these disorders. When you are flooded, when your brain is just like flooding with these triggers that are activating all these emotions, the amygdala is again activated. Remember last week I said the amygdala is pretty much deactivated when with the self-love. But when it's activated, there's a threat detection of, ooh, something's going down. There's a threat. There's something I should be afraid of. And when I said last week about self love activating the prefrontal cortex, I said that you have this ability to think logically and reason, think before you act, think before you say. The prefrontal cortex is online. But when there's no self-love or when there's emotional flooding, the prefrontal cortex goes offline. It's just not working. You're not able to think. When all these emotions are coming in at once, when the anger is there, people say they see red, you're not thinking and you're just going on impulse or going on based on how you're feeling. You can't think clearly. You just overreact. You say things you don't mean, of course, when you're not thinking, and you feel attacked or abandoned. So you don't have this ability to reason with, okay, I don't have to take offense to that because I know I'm thinking empathetically and I know they did not mean that or they didn't mean to do that thing. No, 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 no. You're not thinking. Remember, the prefrontal cortex is offline. So all logic and reasoning is gone. When you're flooded, you're not thinking, you're only surviving, and because you're drowning in all these emotions. So, what are some common triggers? I mean, if you're the wife, mom, boss that I am, you probably can relate that chronic stress can trigger it, sleep deprivation can trigger it. Let's see. Ooh, hormonal shifts. Oh my goodness. There's hormonal shifts based on stress. There's hormonal shifts based on perimenopause. Yay, because we are in that phase. Well, I say we. I'm one person, but the people I know around me are also in perimenopause. Well, I don't know if I am or not. I'd like to believe I'm not, but I'm 42. So it's coming if it's not already here. So anyway, yes, hormonal shifts. Let's see, feeling unappreciated. That can be a trigger for your emotional flooding. Of course, the financial pressure. Of course, why not financial stress? Emotional invalidation because we all need it. We all need to feel appreciated and just carrying too much without support. Wife, mom, boss, why are you carrying so much? You can end up drowning in your emotions, in that emotional flooding. So flooding is often a cumulative event. It's this accumulation of things that are happening, accumulation of all that stress, overwhelm, multiple nights of not sleeping, and multiple financial pressures. It's not just like this random event, like, okay, there's just one little acute stressor. Okay. But when it builds up and you don't do anything about it, that's where the emotional flooding comes. All those intense reactions. And it's not because, oh, you're too sensitive. It's not because you're weak. It's just you are overloaded. You're doing everything for everyone at all times and not doing anything about it. You're prioritizing everyone else, but not yourself. So this is where you slow down and give yourself some tools. Slow down. What are those tools that you learned either in therapy or over time? What kind of reset do you need for yourself when it comes to being able to not flood in emotions or drown in emotions? Maybe you recognize it. You realize I'm flooded. Name it. Always good to name that emotion. When you're able to name it and label your emotions, you're able to reduce that amygdala from firing that threat detection and says, okay, I know what it is. I know what it's coming from. I'm anxious. I'm irritable. I'm overwhelmed. I'm tired. I'm burdened. I'm burnt out. I'm depressed. What is that emotion? Taking deep breaths always helps. People hate that as a therapeutic strategy, but it literally slows you down from from the flight or fight system to the rest and digest. That's all what this is about. Why do I keep talking about taking deep breaths? Because that's how important it is. In the Inspire Joy method, when I'm talking about the nurture, catering to your physical health, it's so important for you to regulate your breathing. And that helps you slow down the process, get from fight or flight to rest and digest to be able to think. Counting can help. Counting the 10 forwards and backwards can help. A lot of people tend to do that and learn that in therapy. When your emotional chemicals peak, it typically takes about 60 to 90 seconds if you don't feed into it. It builds up quickly. So instead of replaying an argument or replaying what happened or building a narrative of what you're going to say next or what happened, why did that happen? I'm not enough. Start digging into those automatic negative thoughts. Oh, just focus on breathing. Focus on the sensations that you feel in your body and let that surge of emotions pass. Maybe just all you need to do is just let that peak pass and just relax, especially before reacting. Because if we react within that first 60, 90 seconds, we might lose our jobs, might lose a relationship, we might get divorced, we might say something to a child that we can't get back or that we might regret. We don't want to do that. Flooding is physical, so you have to regulate physical. That physical flooding that comes is obviously leading to that emotion. The emotions leading to the physical. You can also try things that are physical, obviously, like exercise, whether it's even just a slow paced walk in the sun, or actually get on the treadmill or Stairmaster or doing some jumping jacks or doing some lovely burpees. You put your mind on, oh, I hate these burpees. I'm sure that'll help. Or push ups or sit ups or whatever it is. Stepping outside to get some fresh air, splashing some water on your face, some cold water on your face can help. Progressive muscle relaxation. I definitely teach the grounding, deep breathing, and progressive muscle relaxation, especially for my patients who have chronic anxiety. Progressive muscle relaxation is you're progressing through the different muscle groups. And you can use YouTube to look at different videos. There's actually videos for kids. It's so cute. But what you do is you tense up a muscle group. I'm tensing my arms and then I relax them. Tense up your stomach, relax your legs. Go through you progress through the different muscle groups. And some of the ones for kids, it's like imagine an elephant stepping on your stomach and you have to tense up your stomach so that the elephant won't step and relax it. So basically it gives narratives to help you or your child pinpoint certain muscle groups so that you can relax them. Because when that emotional flooding comes, when that anxiety comes, you are so tensed up. That tension, that chronic pain in your body is coming. And so being able to tense it up yourself and relaxing it helps those muscles be able to regroup and actually be able to relax because you're just walking around all day all tensed up. So regulation starts with your body, not your mind. If you are flooded and you're in an argument, somebody said something, somebody did something, just delay that big conversation. I know my husband and I have a different argument strategy. I just want to talk right away. I want to get out the way. I don't care what we yell. I don't care what we say. I just want to get it out the way. But my husband, he's just like, no, I don't want to say anything I regret. Let me be. Let me go off over here and feel better. When I'm ready to talk, I talk. So it's actually, yes, husband, a good strategy so that you're not saying things that you regret or that you don't really want to say because you're so angry. So delay that big conversation. Don't text the person. Don't argue. Don't make any decisions right now. Whatever that thing is happening that's causing you to currently emotional flood, just stop. Whether you need 20 minutes, an hour, a day, whatever that thing is, take the time so that you can be able to go through the process, the physical regrouping so that you can be able to calm down mentally and emotionally. Just say, you know what? I need 20 minutes. I'll come back to it. I don't have to respond right away. And then after you calm down, you're like, oh, you know what? I think they meant this. They didn't mean anything bad by that. And now you would have lost your job the way you responded. And now you don't have to worry about regretting anything. So think about it later once you feel better. You can audit what kind of pattern that you've noticed that you had later. Ask yourself, what triggered this? What was that? What was all of that happening? I just felt emotionally flooded. What triggered this? Was I already tired or stressed? That's usually my thing. I'm like, why did I just snap at the curve? And I'm just like, oh, I'm tired. I woke up early. Oh, I'm tired. I went to bed late. I'm just stressed because that other thing. Or I'm too busy multitasking. I told you all a few episodes ago, stop multitasking with these kids because, of course, you're going to get upset when they are interrupting something you need to do. Maybe focus on the kids at that time and do the thing that you need to do a little bit later if you're able to. But multitasking, I know, is a big stressor for me when I'm trying to do something that's work related. If there's a child right there, I need to just focus on the child and come back to it. So, anyway, after you calm down from this emotional flood, what triggered this? Ask yourself, was I already tired or stressed? What boundary was crossed? Maybe there was a boundary that was crossed that triggered this. What need wasn't met? Ask yourself these questions. It is so important to reflect. Self reflection increases self awareness, which reduces the likelihood that this emotional flood will happen again in the way that it happened and will increase your ability to be able to control your emotions. Flooding is information, it's an alert, it's a signal, it's a sign that there's something wrong. So, what triggered it? Was I already tired or stressed? What boundary was crossed? What need wasn't met? Ask yourself these questions and come up with the answer. Don't shame it, just study it. Because you can learn from yourself and you can get better and be able to regulate your moods and emotions. No matter how long it's been that you feel like you've been dysregulated, you can't do it. So that's in the moment, that's right after it's done. But how can you be proactive about regulating your emotions? How about we prevent it? How about we undergo some emotional maintenance? Obviously, make sure you get some sleep consistently. Wife, mom, boss, why are you getting 5 hours of sleep? That's not going to help. You need your sleep. You need your exercise. You need to eat regularly. You need to limit sugar intake. I definitely notice when I eat heavier that I feel more irritable. And I've been vegan for, I've been vegan. I am not going to claim being vegan. I've been eating vegan for over a week now. I feel so good. I feel so good. It makes a difference. I feel like the things that would normally stress me out, it hasn't been stressing me like that. Like, wow, food is medication. I literally told a patient because he's like, vegan. Vegans don't care about the animals. I'm like, honestly, I'm being vegan or eating vegan for selfish reasons. I'm doing it for me because food is medication and healthy food can be medication. I'm not doing it for the animals. Sorry. But anyhow, eating regular and eating healthy regularly can be helpful for your emotional maintenance, your preventative emotional maintenance. Scheduling your decompression time. When I run, that's my scheduling decompression time. I wasn't able to work out this morning, but I know I'm working out tonight and I know I'm working out tomorrow morning. Yes, back to back. That's what I do. I have to schedule it. And that is when I scheduled it. Reducing caffeine can help. Notice if it makes you anxious. Stop it. If it makes you anxious, ask for help before you're drowning because that flood can come in and cause you to drown. So, with that, thinking about like what just happened and self reflection and self awareness, that can help you with what kinds of preventative emotional maintenance that you need to prevent it from happening in the future. Emotional flooding is more common in chronically depleted people. So if you're chronically depleted from sleep, chronically depleted from healthy food, chronically depleted from exercise, overdoing the caffeine intake, emotional flooding is going to love being around you. If you're wondering, well, what are some signs that I'm actually improving my regulation? Well, you recover faster. The emotional flooding is not lasting long. You're able to bounce back. That resilience is there. You realize that you're able to pause more. You're not just acting without thinking or saying without thinking. You say less during the conflict. You're able to just kind of like listen and let the other person talk. If it's during like an argument or something, you're not like quick to jump in what you want to say or quick to hit them or something like that. You notice your triggers sooner. When you know, oh my goodness, when I see a patient and they're just like, I don't know what my triggers are, it's like, oh my gosh, you got to learn, you got to reflect, you got to increase that self-awareness. If you don't know your triggers, it is very, very difficult for you to regulate and extremely difficult for you to prevent the emotional flooding from happening in the future. You got to reflect. And of course, you feel less ashamed afterwards because you realize you're making progress, less time. It's not happening as much for as much time. It's not as long as usual. I think that's what I'm trying to say. And you're also not saying things that you regret because you were quiet and didn't say much and let yourself relax first. So that's why you are less ashamed. So progress, noticing that you've made progress in your ability to control your emotional flooding shows that there's a shorter recovery time too, because just like not much to recover from. So you're not too emotional. You're not unstable. You are likely overloaded. So when you understand your nervous system, when you stop fighting yourself, stop being so discompassionate with yourself, I just made that word up, you can start regulating yourself. You can get back to your joy because emotional flooding is not joy. That is not fun. And that emotional flooding, activating your amygdala, that threat detection, reducing your ability to use your prefrontal cortex, increasing your stress hormone, the cortisol hormone, that is increasing your risk to autoimmune disorders. Diabetes is an autoimmune disorder, cardiac issues, heart issues, strokes, aneurysms. And so therefore, when you are not allowing yourself or working on yourself, because it takes work to increase progress, then you are increasing your risk to physical issues as well. Not to sound so like you, but it's empowering that you can do it. You can control your emotions. You can reduce the frequency of emotional flooding. All you got to do is sit with yourself, reflect, increase awareness. You got this. Thank you for listening. This has been an Enjoy Life production. If you're in a crisis, don't hesitate. Call, text, or chat 988 for immediate support. Please note, this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional treatment. If you're looking for therapy or medication management through Enjoy Life, visit www.drenjoylife.com to request a consultation. I'm licensed in 13 states. I accept Aetna in Georgia, Florida, and Virginia. Be sure to grab your copy of the Enjoy Note to help you on your wellness journey. Also check out Inspired Joy for the wife, mom, boss to help you balance it all without losing yourself. Better yet, get the full Joy bundle for just $45. Remember, Journey to Joy Live is every Thursday at 7 p.m. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, may you continue to transform stress into joy.